SpaceX just secretly launched their new Falcon Heavy to orbit. According to the SpaceX Falcon9 rocket's Thursday afternoon launch, the Space Coast is in for an exciting year of space exploration. At the time, no one had ever attempted to land a Falcon 9 booster like this before, so there was a great deal of excitement when SpaceX did it. And now that rocket launches are so routine, it's easy to forget just how many SpaceX missions there are. Finally, SpaceX has secretly launched a new heavy-lift rocket, the Falcon Heavy, into orbit around Earth. That means that the long wait is now over. This reusable rocket has the potential to alter human history and the way we approach space travel in the future. Want to learn more about it? Ensure you stay tuned to the end. You don't want to miss out on anything. Welcome to Unlimited SpaceX. But before we begin, kindly subscribe to this channel, like the video, and enable the notification feature if you haven't already. If you'd like to stay up to date on all things Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and Starlink, come on, let's get started. As soon as SpaceX successfully flew a mock payload on the Falcon Heavy in 2018 to demonstrate its capabilities, it became the most powerful and capable commercial rocket in use, and until the Starship takes over it, it's expected to hold on to the title. The Falcon Heavy can lift more than twice the payload of the next closest operational vehicle, the Delta IV Heavy, which is currently in service. These phenomenal Falcon 9 engines each have 9 Merlin engines. Therefore, the gigantic rocket has a total of 27 engines. And at liftoff, the 5 million pounds of thrust generated by all the Merlin engines is equivalent to the thrust of 18,000 747 aircrafts. Furthermore, at 70 meters in height, the Falcon Heavy rivals the Super Heavy rocket in size. In terms of mass, it's around 1.5 million kilos and has a circumference of 12.2 meters. The Falcon Heavy has a lift capacity of 16,800 kilograms, which may be used by SpaceX to launch a mission to Mars. But of course, SpaceX will not do this because the Starship is the vehicle that'll be used for the mission. In the Falcon Heavy's first stage, the nose cone, inner stage, and octaweb are all connected to the center core via 3 cores. Seeing how Falcon Heavy uses its 3 cores is amazing. The central core engines are shut off shortly after liftoff, and full thrust is restored after the side cores separate and return to the ground. There are 3 helium cores, each with 4 landing legs made of carbon fiber reinforced with aluminum honeycomb, and they're deployed when the cores are about to land. The release and separation system is housed in the inner stage, which connects the first stage's core to the second stage. The second stage Merlin vacuum engines deliver the rocket's payload to orbit after first stage engines are shut down, and the core separate from the second stage. The carbon composite fairing on Falcon Heavy protects the rocket's payloads. SpaceX also recovers and repurposes this fairing. The fairing is over 13 meters high and over 5 meters wide, so there's plenty of room for payload. To put it another way, the rocket has the power to launch a fully loaded 737 jetliner into orbit. Impressive, right? The footage of the Falcon Heavy's side boosters landing simultaneously at Cape Canaveral's LZ-1 and LZ-2 pads is one of the most iconic images in the space business. However, the center core was lost in the air, unfortunately. Anyway, the Falcon Heavy has only flown 3 times, including its maiden flight. After the first flight, SpaceX spent around 14 months upgrading the rocket to Block 5. Reusability, reliability, and performance were all improved as a result of this modification. 3 boosters made it back to Earth, 2 on land, and 1 aboard a drone ship, making this voyage a huge success. 2 months after the Block 5 was inaugurated, the Falcon Heavy made its final flight in support of a U.S. Air Force rideshare mission. SpaceX repurposed the second mission's side boosters for this one. Again, only the 2 side boosters were able to reach their destination, while the central core was destroyed. It erupted in flames, destroying all of its vital components before tumbling into the Atlantic. The Falcon Heavy had not flown since that time until now. The launch of SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket had been scheduled for October 9, 2021, after more than 2 years of inactivity on the part of the company. That had been postponed until early 2022, but not because of problems with the gigantic rocket. Before the first delay was announced, SpaceX had already begun testing the Falcon Heavy rockets for the Texas mission. During the USS F-44 mission, the U.S. Space Force was expected to launch at least 2 satellites into orbit. Millennium Space Systems' Tetra-1 microsatellite was to be one of the 2 extra rideshare payloads on board. Unfortunately, it appears that not everything was completed in time for the scheduled launch day. The mission had to be postponed until early 2022 to accommodate payload readiness. The first Falcon Heavy launch took place in 2018 and featured a Tesla Roadster carrying a dummy named Starman on its trip to Mars. The spacecraft can generate over 5 million pounds of thrust, thanks to its 27 Merlin engines and 2 Falcon 9 launchers. This may result in 5 Falcon Heavy launches in 2022, almost quadruple the number of launches to date, and the first of this year has happened. At 4:49 p.m. Eastern on the 6th of January, SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket blasted off on Starlink 4-5 from Launch Complex 39A at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. There was no ground station coverage at the time of liftoff, thus it wasn't until roughly an hour later that it could be confirmed that the payload of 49 Starlink satellites had detached from the upper stage. 9 minutes after liftoff, the first stage of the rocket landed on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean near the Bahamas. Following 2 GPS-3 satellite launches and the Commercial Crew Dragon mission, this rocket completed its 4th mission successfully. It was a departure from prior Starlink launches from Florida, which have all followed a northeastern trajectory. It was the first of 4 southern or polar tracking missions scheduled for January, a Space Force official said. During the month of January alone, the 1st Range Operations Squadron at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station expects up to 5 polar and 7 total launches. Major Jonathan Zult, Director of Operations for the 1st Range Operations Squadron, stated in a January 4th statement. Cape Canaveral has had 3 polar missions successfully launched in the last year and a half, but it has never had 5 southern trajectory launches in a single month. Beyond Starlink 4-5, he didn't mention any further polar launches scheduled for January. In late January, the Italian space agency ASI is expected to launch a Cosmos SkyMed 2nd-generation radar image satellite on board a Falcon 9. It's possible that the other polar launches are Starlink missions. Space Launch Delta 45, the Space Force unit responsible for operating the Eastern Range, was concerned about the increased usage of launches on southern trajectories because of differing airspace and maritime limitations that pilots and boaters may not be familiar with. As a result, there is a greater potential impact to air and sea traffic along the southeast coast of Florida, Zult said. Ahead of this year's first SpaceX rocket launch, SpaceX set a company record of 31 orbital flights in 2021, all using Falcon 9 rockets. And now, SpaceX has not made a goal for 2022, but Tom Occhierino, Vice President of Commercial Sales at SpaceX, said the company's plans for 2022 included at least 3 crewed missions and 5 launches of the Falcon Heavy, which was last launched in 2019. In a panel discussion at Euroconsul's World Satellite Business Week on December 13th, next year will be more exciting, he predicted for 2022. In the wake of launching 25 missions in 2021, the spacefaring company is gearing up for a major boost in production capacity. According to Next Spaceflight and Spaceflight Now, SpaceX expects to launch 36 rockets in 2019. That doesn't even include Starlink, the constellation of frequently launched satellites that serves as the backbone of the company's expanding internet service. SpaceX may have its best year ever this year. The current record is held by the firm, which launched 26 missions in 2020. There were 104 rocket launches in the world that year, which equates to a 25% share of all global orbital flights in 2020. In October 2020, Elon Musk tweeted that his target for 2021 was 48 missions, which he appears that would be able to accomplish in 2022. Well, that's if all things go according to plan. What do you think of this new Falcon Heavy and its potentials? We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. With that, we've come to the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, kindly like and subscribe so that you can receive more SpaceX content in the future. Don't forget to turn on the notification button. And of course, always leave your comments down below. See you soon!